one of the best games of this generation is arguably Dungeons and Dragons. For a lot of you gamers out there, you may have not heard of this game before because it's not on any console. It's not on your Nintendo Switches. It's not on your GameCubes, your Game Boy Advances. No, it's not on your PS5s, your PSXs. It's on its own console called Imagination. Now this is already installed. It's completely free, and one of the interesting things is the graphics are amazing. It's as crisp and clean as you want it to be. The immersion and visualization is just something you can picture, and it's honestly very underrated. It's fulfilling without feeling overwhelming, and you get to choose what you want to emphasize. It takes traditional fantasy setting and the classes we all know and love, and takes that to the next level with a level of customization and options that are pretty much unrivaled. Your character is not only defined by their strengths, but also their weaknesses, something that often in a lot of stats-based games you don't see a lot. It creates a sort of deeper character narratively, which a lot of the games, it's like you kind of have to compromise story for gameplay, or vice versa, or it feels kind of shoehorned in. No, this is an open world with a great story. And you're not just a witness. Your interactions are as valuable as the combat. Into a variety of playstyles based off of would you want to lean more into the game. You can get a different experience out of it. Now, what might turn people off in this game is the level of randomness. Now, unlike games like Hearthstone, we're getting good RNG that values the opponent's skill. Dungeons and Dragons DICE or dice system allows you to sort of roll your own fate. You're in charge of literally rolling for to see what the result is, instead of simple encoded numbers. Now a lot of this is one of the more expensive DLCs to the game is dice. There's a lot of complaints about that. I mean, it's because people go pretty crazy. They're willing to spend above and beyond when it comes to dice DLCs, which I think you don't need it. It's just cosmetic, but people love different skins for the dice. So that is something to look out for. There are definitely rare collectible ones that are hard to pull. How does RNG factor into such a story-heavy game? Well, what this allows you to do is pull off things that would be otherwise impossible or improbable by showing the consequences of the same risks if you fail, which creates a randomness that leads to unplanned moments that you and your fellow gamers get to have a unique experience with that are different from other gaming groups. Oh, should I mention, it is multiplayer. So it can be played sort of like you can bring other people over and you can sort of play on the same console, or you can play online. And the online community is pretty, there's always toxic people out there. You can't block them. That is one thing to consider. Now, no two games of Dungeons & Dragons are the same with so many endless customization options, and this is where the D&D community really shines. As you can see, countless hours the community put into making these levels that are so tailored to each individual's backstory. The faith Wizards of the Coast has in their player base to give this much creative freedom is something that's never been done. I mean, they trust them to kind of make things better than even the base game. And not only that, but they themselves keep continually putting out DLC for this one game. I mean, they could just, make they have made multiple editions before, but it's been going on for a while, and they're still patching it, which is nice to hear, because there were a lot of balance issues at the beginning, especially with the Ranger class. People were very upset. Now, not all of the creator levels are amazing, and playing them is such a large investment that this can discourage one sometimes. But the community is so encouraging to new creators on directing them to become better at making the levels, that toxicity is much lower than other games. You won't hear like noob and things like that. No, it's the other way around, which is very interesting. In the Dungeons and Dragons community, if you are too good at the game, people get mad, which is not what you see in most games. It's not really like, I would say sometimes you get like Smurf accounts that they'll play with a bunch of new players and they'll kind of like attack on them, which is not fun. but for the most part, um, that's a lot more mitigated than in other games. You may be wondering, for the competitive players, there's not really, the ranked mode isn't really as much of a thing. Like, you can make levels that sort of simulate this ranked experience, but it's not really made for competitive play, which might off-put people because it's not as, but it doesn't mean it's not as commercialized. People love streamers of this game, and it's one of the few streaming platforms that promote kind of multiplayer streaming, which is very interesting. And then you also have single content creators. These are ones who are good at like making the levels, and they'll show you their process and things like that. The thing that scares a lot of people off is the length of the sessions, because okay, essentially there's not really a save point until like after like 4 hours or so of gameplay, which is a lot. It's a big investment, and the thing is, because you have the same team each time, you'll often have to delay this because you don't want to start if you can't just start and not save it. So this leads to like cancellation issues. This is a big issue in the community. Is fine. Like, there's a lot of other people who play, but they get busy because it's such a big time investment. But it's something you're just gonna have to expect. Now the level, now like I said, it's got great DLC and a great replayability as well. Though my biggest complaint has got to be the voice acting. They advertise voices like Matthew Mercer. In this even being like the face for the game, but instead we get often these tropey and mediocre dialogue spoken by unprofessional voice actors who always seem to sound the same, except they put on different goofy accents and frequently break character. I mean, I feel like some of these interactions, I feel like they're not put time and love into the voice acting, like they're made on the fly or completely random. This is the risk of interactions which are completely tailored to you. Now the combat system is varied. Now the thing is, it's turn-based. I know. There's a lot of sort of dispute on turn-based RPGs, but just trust me. Just try to give this one a chance. And if not, remember, everything's completely tailored to you. You can even alter the combat system. There's customization galore in this game, so don't worry about it. Just give it a try. Overall, though, this game is definitely worth the shot. I know it's a big community and a big investment, but I find it is very rewarding. So I give this game a 9 out of 10. One play again. Thank you, gamers. Love the community. Streaming, catch me then. And peace out.